Okay, guys, I decided I wanted to do this just because I just read. Have y'all read Syed Yousaf's story about the G League tryout on The Athletic? If you haven't, that's what's linked below, and I want you to read that. And I was figuring out, Twitter won't allow me to do it in 150 characters. I don't get paid by The Athletic. Y'all know I'm a blogger and I do a podcast, but you guys are missing out if you're not a part of The Athletic. It's not like your normal. Look, I'm a big proponent of you need to join anything. If you enjoy that sport, you need to get all those beat writers and join whatever they do to write because you want to get your info. But look, the Athletic comes from a different perspective. Now, I started on The Athletic because, first of all, I'm kind of a poor man's Jamie Newberg. Jamie was just the king. He was like my spirit animal. I love Jamie. I followed Jamie back from the beginning with the Newberg report and all of that because I was a nerd. I loved the Rangers minor leagues. I loved trade deadline. I loved all of that and was following all of that back before internet was even huge. I was doing it on buying my baseball weeklies and doing all of that. But the reason I originally joined The Athletic was because of Ken Rosenthal. And the reason I did that for Ken Rosenthal was because at trade deadline, Ken Rosenthal always had the inside scoop. So when you were finding out if somebody was getting traded or whatever, that's the guy I went to try to figure it out. So after Ken Rosenthal took that, all of a sudden Jamie announced that he was going to go over to The Athletic and work for The Athletic. Now, for me, that was great. I already had The Athletic because of Jamie, because of Ken. So Jamie going over there was fantastic. So I had my Athletic subscription, and I was getting all of Jamie's stuff, and I don't blame him. If somebody was going to pay him to do all the work that he always did, this was fantastic. So, for me, it was awesome. Well, getting to cover the Rangers and getting to go into the press box and getting to do all of that, I met Levi. And y'all know Levi and I have kind of struck up this relationship. I don't say we're buddies because we're not buddies. We don't hang out, but we're friends. We've become acquaintances there. I really like the guy. He seems to like me. We have fun talking. We jabber. Our families do all of that. Well, through Levi, if you ever read Levi's stories or listen to the podcast he does with Emily, it's crazy. It's not like a normal story about the Rangers. It's crazy stuff. I turned him on to that whole Brock Burke thing with Brock Burke sleepwalking. And man, he took it, did way more than I ever thought anyone could do. I thought it was hilarious and kind of scary. And Emily and him talked about it in the podcast. It was amazing. But through them, I met Syed. That people call him Syed. It's Syed Yousaf is how I say it, and I'm probably saying that wrong. I've met Syed a couple of times. We've talked. We're supposed to do an interview. Just an amazing kid, man. Crazy, great guy. And he's got the story I want to talk about, and I can't wait. And we were trying to get together this last week. We didn't have a chance. He kind of got behind. He was having to cover the Mavericks to this other thing, but he came out to the ballpark. But, this guy, his name alone tells you his nationality is something I want to learn about. He's got this love for sports. I want to know about him. Levi hinted that he was a high school quarterback, so I want to talk about that. So I'm going to get with Syed to talk about him. Just this wonderful kid. Writes amazing. But the Athletic comes at this from a whole different perspective. It's really wild to watch. It's a neat that they don't just write your numbers and this is the stats from the box and all of that. They go in depth in these stories, and it's so cheap to be part of The Athletic. You guys, I guarantee you can get a subscription for cheaper than I pay. I got in kind of at the beginning of it with Rosenthal. But anyway, y'all need to read the story about Syed, who tried out for the G League, which is a funny story. I mean, that's a cool story. That's a great story to tell. It's kind of like the old, the Paper Lion back in the day when Plimpton tried out for the Detroit Lions, I believe it was, and went undercover to try out as a quarterback, and that was they made a pretty good movie out of it with Alan Alda, but that's for us older guys. You guys need to look into The Athletic. You're missing out, and I don't feel it's my place to share what they're sharing on The Athletic, so you're not getting it from me. If you're getting it for free, I don't think that's right. You ought to pay for the subscription. It's pretty cheap to do, and man, they write from a different perspective. I've also met the guys, like there's a guy named Fabian who comes from, he's the LA Angel beat reporter, and I met him, just a nice guy. I met him in the press box when the Angels were in town. It's kind of a somber time because of that was when the Tyler Skaggs things was happening. But man, I can't say this enough. You guys need to join The Athletic. You're getting a lot of great stuff there, and it's so much more in depth than you think it is, and the stories are just fun. Look, I love TR. I get TR stuff every day. I read TR stuff. Evan Grant and Jeff Wilson, I get their stuff. I love their stuff too. So, I mean, if you're a big Ranger fan, you need to be subscribed to those outlets so you can get that stuff. But The Athletic has really impressed me, and y'all need to look into that. Okay, that was a free plug for The Athletic. I expect my check in the mail. Anyway, all right, guys. I know I didn't get the podcast out. I went on a little hunting trip this weekend. We'll try to get it out this week. I'm going to get with Syed. He's already promised we're going to get together one way or the other. We're going to talk about him. I did one with Levi. I talked to Jamie earlier in the year. He said that one day he'd try to get together with me. He's just this guy's a lawyer on top of all the stuff he does for The Athletic and the New Report. But hopefully in the off season sometime, Jamie and I can get together and do a little talk about Jamie and how he got started with all of that. Anyway, have a good one. Have a good Tuesday. Tonight my son plays football, so I'll be busy with that. Holler at you later.